Daily Bats, I choose you as champion. Say my name so my powers will become yours. Shazam.
Wait, for real?
Say it, okay? Say my name. Shazam!
Hey guys, so I just got home from watching Shazam at the movies and happy to report it was bloody terrific. I'd heard that there was a lot of positive reviews going into this, so I had my expectations kind of creeping up. I tried to lower them because, hey, it's DC and it's only recently that they started turning things around. But I did have my expectations kind of rising and I wanted to make sure I wasn't disappointed, and I wasn't. It was a lot of fun. So the reports are right, the Rotten Tomatoes score is right. Everyone's loving this film. It is a lot of fun. It is bright, it's colourful, and its heart is firmly in its chest, beating loud and proud, and it really kind of sucks you in with its story about family, and the execution of the characters are done so well. The performers in this, every one of them is amazing. The story was very heartfelt, magical, and a lot of fun from start to finish. This is one of the better DC films by a long shot. I love this one from start to finish. It was fantastic. So much so, I actually I bought a toy. I got myself a Funko Pop. I got the Shazam doll from Zing. I do have a few of these on collection in my man cave. I'm loving the DC ones. I didn't get my Captain Marvel one yet from Marvel, you know, Brie Larson. But this one I thought, yeah, I've got a good vibe about this film, so I picked up Zachary Levi as Shazam in my Funko Pop. I love them. So I've got a few. You want to see? You do want to see, don't you? Superman. Very, very nice. Flash. Cool, right? Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot. Fantastic film. I think Wonder Woman's still my favourite DC flick. Very, very good. Got Batman, of course. I like Batman. Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Very cool. And last but not least, I just love this one. It's so cool. The Clark Kent one. Opening the shirt. Mad fan of the DC films, and the Funko Pops are incredible. So I don't really have a lot of room up there for the Shazam, but I'll squeeze them in somewhere. Yeah, they're a little dusty. I need to do some cleaning in here. So the film itself. So I'm not going to spoil anything yet. I'll let you know when I want to go into spoil territory. There's a scene in this film that absolutely blew my mind. It was just geek heaven, but I don't want to spoil it to you because going in fresh and not knowing much about this film is the best way to do it, because all the marketing, the trailers, the posters, they're not revealing the whole story here, guys. You're not going to get everything spoiled for you, which is nice. So when it finally happened in the film, I was pleasantly surprised. I was hoping it was going to happen, but I was kind of wondering also if they're going to live for the sequel. They didn't. They just had a very big reveal at the end, and it was an extravaganza of geek heaven. It was fun. So Billy Batson's a young foster kid going from home to home. He keeps running away. He's trying to track down his mother. She abandoned him when he was a little kid, and he's having trouble finding her, so he's got abandonment issues, and he doesn't have a lot of time for connecting to families. He believes that the foster families are just playing make-believe with him. He's got a mother. He doesn't need these people, so he keeps running away. But he meets his new family, who are played by Marta Milans and Cooper Andrews, playing Rosa Vasquez and Victor Vasquez. I recognized Cooper Andrews from The Walking Dead. I didn't pick him right away. It wasn't until I checked this list here on IMDb that he's from The Walking Dead, so that's why he was recognizable to me. And we also got the other kids in the family. We've got Asher Angel playing Billy Batson, Jack Dylan Grazer as Freddie Freeman, fresh out of It. We got Faith Herman as Darla, Grace Fulton as Mary, Ian Chen as Eugene, and Javan Armand as Pedro. So the dynamic of the family is actually really cool too. So when Billy Batson's introduced to the family, I kind of felt like every single casting choice was a perfect fit. I was enjoying the scenes at home a lot. This film is like a coming of age story, basically Big meets Superman, with a little sprinkling of the Goonies and It all through it. You know, well, not like the scary side of it, but the camaraderie of the kids. And I think the dynamic of all the actors in the family unit were really, really strong. So Asher Angel as Billy Batson was a loner. He's an outsider. He's just not willing to become part of a new family. His walls are up. So the kids are very embracing, especially little Darla, played by Faith Herman, who's just like this cute little girl, and she just wants a new big brother, and he's just like, oh, we're not related, so, you know, back off. And the parents are really, really good too. We have also got Mark Strong as Dr. Savannah, Thaddeus Savannah. He's the villain of the piece. We also have got in here, and still avoiding spoilers, but the cast list on the Internet Movie Database does give away a lot. So don't look at the cast list if you haven't seen the movie yet. But one of the other geek moments I had in the film was when I saw John Glover turn up as Mr. Savannah, Thaddeus' father. The movie opens up as a villain origin with young Thaddeus in the car with his father, John Glover, who is also the father of Lex Luthor in Smallville. So it's very cool to see him here in this one, a new DC film, again playing the father of the bad guy. And the only regret I have about Mark Strong being cast in this film is that he's no longer going to be able to be Lex Luthor, which really sucks because he was the spitting image of Lex Luthor in this film. I suppose he's played Sinestro before in that Green Lantern film, so I suppose he could come back and play another character in the DC universe. Maybe, because he'd be an awesome Lex. So the film opens with young Thaddeus in the car with his father having a fight with him and his brother, and he gets called by the wizard Jumon Hunsu, who is searching the earth for that one true hero, pure of heart, to be the champion. Young Thaddeus is tempted by the 7 deadly sins, who the wizard is keeping an eye on, for want of a better word, at the Rock of Eternity. So he's trying to find that person pure of heart to give them the powers of the wizard. Thaddeus fails the test and is sent back into the car, where promptly there is an accident and his father's badly hurt, but it instills in him a lifelong obsession to find out where this wizard was. A lot of people are putting it down to mass hysteria and an illusion, but Thaddeus knows the truth and he's doing his best to find this location again. So that's his journey as the villain. He does eventually find the Rock of Eternity again and takes the full powers of the 7 deadly sins, and there we go, he's the bad guy with a lot of superpowers. Mark Strong is an amazing actor, very charismatic, and he's a chameleon. In every role he goes into, he's a brilliant bad guy. Once again, he would have been a brilliant Lex. It just sucks. So the film is lighthearted in tone, but does take itself seriously. So when Billy Batson does get his powers, he's like a 14-year-old kid who's suddenly imbued with the powers of Shazam, which are Solomon, Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury, the world's mightiest mortal. So when this kid gets these powers and he turns into Zachary Levi, he doesn't know how to handle them. He's suddenly got all the power in the world, but he's a lost kid. He doesn't really know what he wants out of life, and he doesn't know his place. So when he's got these powers after being like shipped around from person to person all these years, he's suddenly found a little bit of independence. He doesn't want to really associate with his friend Freddy anymore, and goes off and develops a bit of an ego, and, you know, just performing tricks on the street for money. So he does not utilize the powers to the best of his ability. It's not until Freddy, who is a mad superhero fan, nice nod to Batman with the Batarang and a bullet which he's found, which is apparently bounced off Superman, so it's worth like $600 apparently. But he's a mad superhero fan. So for Billy Batson, who is now Shazam, Captain Marvel to you DC fans out there, he just sees it as a missed opportunity. He just thinks that he's become a bit of a bully and a show-off, and he's not using his powers for good. It's not until Savannah turns up and challenges Shazam because he wants the powers for himself that things start becoming real. Shazam, Billy, is frightened. He's never had a fight before. This bad guy wants to take his powers, and suddenly he's literally had to grow up in this body of Shazam. So that's the basic plot. I don't want to go too much further into it in this part of it, but the general feeling of the movie I had when I come out of there was just utter enjoyment. It was so much fun from start to finish. It was bright, it was colourful, but it was done more on a medium budget. It wasn't the grand spectacle of, say, Wonder Woman or Aquaman, which is just filled with special effects. This is a much smaller film in tone. It's set in Philadelphia, so it's not set in Gotham City or Metropolis, some fantasy place. It's grounded in the real world, and it's a much smaller scope. It's all about the family. It's about Freddie and Billy and Mary and the foster kids, and Billy finding his way in life and finding a family. So that side of it is just very intimate, with a healthy dose of some great superhero action at the end. But it's not over the top, crazy big. It's not a spectacle, but it is a heartwarming piece of storytelling, which is just fantastic. So definitely one of the better DC films. Go see it. It didn't open with the usual DC banner art that the other DC films open with Superman and Batman and Green Lantern all coming across the screen, across the big DC logo. It was from Warner Brothers, associated with New Line Cinema, and then boom, we go. So I didn't really say anything about the DC universe, although it definitely is connected, because we do get some kind of little sprinkles of the DC universe in the film. Okay, so I might tread lightly into spoil territory here. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I want to talk about some things which were just over the top. So, all hands on deck, spoil territory coming up.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
So we do get cameos in this film from Superman, although we don't really have Henry Cavill here. It's a shot at the very end of the film of Superman walking on screen, but the top of his head's off screen. And when Superman walks on screen, there is actually the old John Williams Superman Christopher Reeve score playing over the top. So that was a nice nod to the original Superman films. I really appreciated that. I didn't think DC would do that in the new crop of movies, but it was a nice nod to Superman fans. And then the ending credits is all artwork with drawings and printings out of all the DC Universe heroes as they are now. Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa as Aquaman, The Flash, Superman. So they do appear in some degree at the end of the film. Now what I wanted to talk about here was the geek heaven that was the Marvel family. I didn't think they were going to do it in this film, but they bloody well did, and it was freaking amazing. So the scene at the end of the film when Billy realizes the only way to kind of stop Sivana is to unite with his family. Sivana has got this staff, and this is how Shazam got his powers. The wizard Shazam holds the shaft, Billy Batson grabs a hold of it. Nice joke about shafts in the film too, just quietly. And he has to say the wizard's name, and then suddenly, bam, he's got the powers. So Shazam now, Billy Batson as Shazam, has that same ability. So Sivana wants Shazam to imbue him with the powers of Shazam. When Shazam punches Thaddeus in the face, knocks him away, turns to face the family of the kids who are around him at the time at the climax. Staff in the middle, hands on deck, guys. All the kids grab the staff, say his name, and bang, we've got the Marvel family. All the kids have become, well, not the Marvel family, they become Shazams. Is that what we're saying? We're saying Shazams. So we got Freddie Freeman, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, who was great, but we get superhero Freddie, as credited here in the cast list, played by Adam Brody, who I know primarily from the OC, but I was super stoked to see him here. Then we had Darla Dudley, played by Faith Herman, was also played by Megan Good as superhero Darla. Then we had Mary Bromfield, played by Grace Fulton, who was also played by Michelle Borth as superhero Mary. Ian Chen playing Eugene Choi turns into Ross Butler, who I know primarily from 13 Reasons Why as superhero Eugene. And then we have got DJ Catrona as superhero Pedro, who was played by Jovan Armand. So suddenly we've got 5 more superheroes on deck in a very superhero-centric climax. I wasn't expecting it. I thought they might lead into that in the next film, but we had them here. We had the Marvel family on screen, kicking ass in all their great uniforms, and the cast, even though the superhero versions of the cast were only on screen for the last 10-20 minutes of the film, they were perfect. Especially Adam Brody. He was in the OC, who played a really nerdy comic guy and loved his superheroes, so to see him actually get to play one, fantastic. Also has to be said for Zachary Levi. He played Chuck for a number of years in that TV series. He was essentially a nerdy guy who suddenly imbued with the power of the spy, a secret agent. He had all these things downloaded into his head, so he could do martial arts fighting, and it's super cool. So same kind of concept. He was a clueless nobody, has suddenly got these amazing powers. So maybe that's why he was cast, because he could still do that kind of thing, looking blank and thinking, what am I doing? And still being awesome and cool with superpowers. Maybe. So the movie was just so much fun. Having all those superheroes on screen at the end was just crazy good. And the suits, although the suits did look kind of weird to me in the initial trailer and the posters, on screen they work really well, and the different subtle versions of them on the Marvel family were really nice. Adam Brody had a nice blue suit. Oh, it was very cool. And there's also has to be said about the comparisons to Big, the Tom Hanks film from the 80s or the 90s, can't remember when it was released, but basically small boy makes a wish and becomes Tom Hanks. He grows up. There's a famous scene in that movie where he's on a big, at Toys R Us I think it is, and there's like a big piano on the ground, and you step on it, it lights up and plays a tune. They actually have a nod to that in this film. There's a scene where we're having a big fight between Sylvanus and Shazam in a toy store, and he ends up landing on this keyboard, and he does a few steps before then the fight continues. But it was a nice little nod to Big. I thought that was really cool. And also a special shout out to Santa Claus. I thought you were awesome in this film. Amazing, you stole the show. see the movie, you'll know what I mean. I'm a big fan of the DC films. They have had some good films, they've had some not so good films, but I really think they're kind of finding their footing now. Aquaman was incredible, and now this one, another massive step up. I think Justice League was enough of a concern to really make the DC executives really change the way they approach their films. And with this one, they really did knock it out of the park. It's a family-friendly film, although there are some scary bits in this. I mean, the bad guy's got the powers of the 7 deadly sins, and they are essentially demon creatures. And there's one scene at a boardroom meeting that does kind of feel a little bit too intense for the smaller ones, but I really enjoyed it. Like, if you're a grown-up adult like me, you're not going to be scared of demons, but there are some scary scenes in this one for the kids, so just bear that in mind if you're taking the little ones, like heads being bitten off and stuff. Not overly graphic, but it does show it on screen. Okay, so directed by David F. Sandberg, who has done Lights Out, which was a great film, and he also did Annabelle Creation. So he has come from a scary horror film background, and that definitely did show in that boardroom scene. But it's really interesting that a guy who's made these smaller horror films, who's suddenly given the opportunity to do what is considered a tentpole action superhero flick, and he did a really good job of it too. So Lights Out was really creepy and intense, and Annabelle was the better one out of the sequels, so he definitely knows how to craft a good film. So I'll be definitely looking forward to seeing what they do next. And we have a few little stingers at the end too. There was Mr. Mind, I think, a little caterpillar thing at the end, which was kind of talking to the bad guy at the very end. I don't know much about him, but they mentioned the 7 realms, so I think they're going to be having some kind of massive fight in the 7 realms and taking over the earth, which could lead to another Justice League film maybe if they kind of team up with all the superheroes together. And of course, I think the next film in the Shazam family will be Black Adam with The Rock. Dwayne Johnson is going to be doing that film. It's kind of alluded to in this film a little bit. They do the story of how Shazam, the wizard, has kind of gone on this crusade to find that true hero after giving the powers to an individual and they made the wrong choice. And this bad Shazam has caused massive catastrophe and death. So I'm assuming that's Black Adam, because Black Adam's going to get his own origin film, and then obviously they'll have a bit of a showdown. So yeah, it was really, really good. Zachary Levi was fantastic as Captain Marvel, Shazam, and young Jack Dylan Grazer as Freddie Freeman definitely is one to watch. He stole the show in It, and he stole the show here too. He was fantastic. He's such a great little actor. He really knows how to find that balance between humor and drama for such a young kid, man. He was amazing. Okay, that's my review on Shazam. Have you seen it? What do you think? Did you enjoy it? Definitely can't wait to give it a second viewing. It was a really enjoyable, fun film for the whole family. And it definitely feels like it's got DC on track. If the other films have this kind of flavour and tone and sense of fun about it, I'm in. I want Superman to be like this. Obviously much bigger scale, because Superman he's grand, he's epic. But have that fun tone about it. We're on the right track, we really are. DC, it took a long time, but awesome. And of course we're going to get the Joker as well. So they are experimenting with their slate and doing more independent stuff too. I'm fine with that. As long as they're good films, I'm in. So thank you everyone who has been involved in the making of Shazam. It was a top flick. I highly recommend you check it out. On the big screen it looked cool. I didn't see the 3D version. I really have kind of turned off on 3D, so don't really bother with that anymore. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my Shazam toy. I'm going to open it. I'm going to find a spot on the shelf for it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of my afternoon. So thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.